Hey, what's going on, guys? I've been really into motorcycles for the past few years now, and I finally got my first bike. It's gonna be this used 2015 FZ-07. Watch this video all the way through so I can tell you exactly why this is one of the best bikes you can get as a beginner. When I was doing my research, I saw a lot of videos from big YouTubers making videos about this bike. Now, all these guys, they have a lot more experience with motorcycles than I do, and they would do a really good job of explaining why this bike would be amazing for someone just starting out. What makes this video different is that I'm a beginner. A lot of the things I felt with this bike, being a motorcycle virgin, are things that you'll probably feel too if you're just getting started. Before this, my only experience with a motorcycle was all the things I did for the MSF course to get my license. Now, obviously, when I was buying my bike, I didn't want to spend a bunch of money, so I went used. I primarily went on Facebook Marketplace to look around for a good deal, and I kind of just sent it. Now, I watched a bunch of different YouTube channels about this, Revzilla, Yami Noob, and Ryan F9, and that kind of gave me a good idea of what I needed before I could actually go buy a bike and what I should look out for when I'm picking it up. And if you're gonna buy used, I highly recommend you watching some of these videos just because you need to know what to look out for when you're buying something like this. I got it from a guy I was moving, so he sold it to me for cheap. When you're buying a used bike, one of the best things you can do is find a good seller that really takes care of their bike. Now, I'm 6 foot, 6'1" in boots. I fit on this bike pretty well. There's a decent bend to my knee, but when I pick it up, I have no trouble trying to balance it. Overall, I love the ergonomics on this bike. It's a naked bike and it's a very neutral sitting position. I've had no trouble at all spending hours on this thing. I've gone on 150 plus mile trips on this bike and I have no back pain, my wrists don't hurt, nothing. The only issue I've noticed after a few hours is the seat's not too comfortable and it starts to hurt after a while. I'd recommend you look at an aftermarket seat for this bike just as it might make your trips a little bit more comfortable. One of the things I was worried about with this bike was it not having enough power, and believe me, I was wrong for that. Now, this all came from a fear of me not knowing if I was making the right purchase or not. Now, believe me when I say I am confident that this bike has more than enough power for any beginner. It's never felt like it's been overwhelming with power. Even as a beginner with zero throttle experience, I've never had a tough time trying to control it. With this bike, you can expect to pull a 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds, which is actually in par with my Tesla Model 3. The top speed goes up to like 130 miles an hour, which is more than enough. This is one of the most popular naked motorcycles ever produced, and it's been out since 2015. Because of this, there are a lot of different mods out there. There's a lot of aftermarket support, so you can get your bike to look the way you want it to. Since this is my first bike, I can't really compare it to anything. The things that might bother a more experienced rider, I don't even notice since this is now my default. There's only a few things that I'd consider issues with this bike, but it might just be a skill issue on my part. When rolling at slow speeds in first gear, I've noticed when I'm going start and stop on the throttle, I feel it kind of jerking. Again, that might just be a skill issue with me, but I definitely think it makes it a little sketchy when you're going around a corner and you're in first. Now, I'm not sure if you can change that or if it's because of my throttle or if that's just the bike, but it's something that you should probably know. Overall, I'm really happy that I made the decision to get this bike. I absolutely love riding through the mountains in my area and even making the 80-mile commute to work. Especially since lane splitting here in California is legal, I'm saving a lot more time doing this than sitting in traffic for hours on end. If you're looking at getting this bike as a brand new beginner, I'm sure that you'll be more than happy with it. I don't see a need to start on anything smaller like a 300. If you have any questions about this bike, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a like down below. That would really help me out. That's all I have for you. Have a great day.